if you had to choose between, if you could only pick one, marriage or career, which would you choose? If you had to choose. Can we do that?
Yeah, can I add one thing? So is it great, amazing career or beautiful, healthy family?
That's correct.
Okay, that was a
if
good
you had to
distinction.
choose. Now, you can have both in life, but if you could only pick one.
I would say marriage.
Marriage.
Yeah, the healthy family.
Back him up on, you're not really in your prime once you turn 30. I know I got married at age 23. I mean, I was pretty, I was an athlete, married the wrong guy, became obese.
Oof.
Yeah, not now, obviously. But yeah, once I divorced him after I turned 30, the dating pool was vastly smaller.
Well, thank you for defending me. I could have used you a couple months ago. So
I'm in Phoenix, so.
No, that's right. We should talk. No, and the last question that I'll ask is, I want you to think about it. If every single one of you said marriage, are you making deliberate steps every day to get closer to that goal, or are you making steps to get closer to the career goal?
Starting with you, go ahead.
Because I believe that in a marriage, since you're coming together as a contractual agreement, I do want to provide to a certain extent, just in case my husband can't. I am going towards a career.
Okay.
At the moment.
No, and I only ask just, and again, we don't have to go on the horn. I think it's important, though, to answer your question. Far too often, we do not tell young ladies, if you have to prioritize one more than the other, would you rather have your tombstone say, CEO of a shoe company, or loving mother of 3 children and a wife? And if you would rather have loving mother and, of 3 children and a wife, then you should prioritize that more in your early 20s than your career or going to college. Because the tragedy is there are far more single early 30-something women in this country than married 30-something women in this country. The fertility rate's the lowest ever been, marriage rate's the lowest ever been, and it's because we tell young ladies you can wait forever to do this, and that's not the case for everybody. It's the case for some people, but not the case for everybody, and I think it's a tragedy.
I think while even you have a family, you should...
I'm trying here, man.
Even when you have a family, you should still have what happens when the kids are done and they graduate and they move on out of the nest? What does a woman do then?
Grandkids.
Does a woman just take care? Well, that's assuming
that's
that
a really
your
smart question, though.
want to.
In fact, we are doing everything the opposite. We should say focus on family formation in your early 20s, then go to college in your late 30s.
Sure. But what if you marry the
Because college
wrong
will always be
person?
there.
Or
That's a very fair point. Love and life come with a huge risk.
Sure.
But the greater risk is dying alone.
But I feel like we also have to acknowledge the fact that one of the reasons why so many women don't want to prioritize marriage right now, just straight out of you're 18, let's work on getting married and having kids and then think about college, is because college gives you so many opportunities that you can focus and work on that directly. You come out of college, you have all these open doors. Whereas if you're 18 and you decide not to go to college because you want to prioritize a marriage, that can go wrong in so many other ways where you have no backup plan. Now you're 25 making minimum wage, so much farther behind towards a marriage than the woman who already graduated college, who has financial stability to be able to have kids and provide for her kids. So that's where
that's a fair point. You could always go back to college. I'll reiterate that. However, that's not the problem in America. The problem right now, as it is, because the problem you're talking about was the problem in the 1960s, which is what Gloria Steinem said. If my husband left, I would have no way to feed myself. That was the core essence of her critique. If my husband left, I would be having to go to get food stamps because I have no skills except being a stay-at-home mom, which, by the way, is the most important thing ever, being a stay-at-home mom, but that's a separate issue. But right now in America, we've gone to the other extreme, which is you could delay it. You can delay it. You can have kids whenever you want. And we have 15 to 20 million single women in the country that have great careers.
And I feel like another reason why women right now, it's so hard for them to just prioritize having kids is because if you haven't gone to college, got the education, you don't have a husband who also is very financially stable, who's gonna provide for those kids? You know what I mean? We're in times where it's so iffy.
I don't sympathize with that argument as much. First of all, if you get married, by definition, your costs go down because you have 2 people then paying for rent, right, or for a mortgage. So you can actually consolidate income. But studies actually show men earn more as soon as they get married and have children. Something primal kicks into us where we take a second job, we work extra hours, we figure it out. Men are actually men are super simple, women are very complicated. Men, as long as we feel appreciated, we feel noticed, and we feel special, and we see our role and our purpose, we will go to the ends of the earth to feed our family. We'll figure it out. And I think we're underselling American men. We say, oh, I wait until I'm 27 or 28. That's fine, but look at the cost of that. And the cost is, right now, just as we're clear, we are on pace 10 years out from now, we're going to have 20 million 40-something women that never got married or have kids, but they have big apartments and they go on lots of vacations. And I also think that's one of the reasons we're seeing the suicide rate, the anxiety problems, the depression problems in our country. Do you have a thought? Or
Yeah, I just feel like how many people that are like, or how many males that are 20 are like ready to get married and like ready to
great
have a
question.
family.
So the question is, which one leads which? Men, yes, but in the 1950s or 1960s, the time we're supposed to hate, young ladies looked at it was my task to find a husband before the age of 25. And it was like the most important thing for them. Now, that came with a lot of costs. Some people would say that it was handcuffs and, being in prison. But if young ladies, first and foremost, no offense to my two Australian friends, got off of and stopped, posting naked pictures of themselves online and made themselves harder to get, men would step up to the plate. One of the reasons why men are grown infants is because women are so easy to get right now in America. There's no desire, there's no hunt, there's no search. So you can be a grown infant and you can get sex. When it used to be in 1950s, young women would be like, I'm not giving myself over to you. You're a man-child. Like, you don't even pay rent. You have nothing going for you. When now, unfortunately, you can pay $10 a month to go see a woman. No offense. Well, actually, kind of offensive, but
Aren't
that's
you
a
guys
separate
like
issue.
$5?
But
Yeah, I think
Sorry.
but I'm saying
no,
that.
that's okay.
But to my own friends here, do you think that you both want to get married, right, and have children?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that you are more desirable or less desirable to a future husband when you post suggestive or naked pictures online?
I think that we're entitled just as much as other people.
No, you're totally entitled. You have freedom to do it. I'm asking a
Yeah.
different question. Are you more desirable or less desirable for a
It's
man?
always been the same for me. Like, I've always received love the same way, and that's pretty shit. Like, I didn't really receive it. They all looked at me the same from the beginning.
How do you know how men look at you?
Because when I talk to them, I usually fall head over heels for them, and they all view me the same way. So whether or not I'm doing hands and selling my body, or not doing and selling my body, I'm still looked at the same way. They still think that of me.
Yeah, you don't know the male mind very well.
But they've already told me themselves, how
And men
they
are
view
really
me.
good liars. Do you know that?
True.
Then how could you know they're telling the truth?
I don't know. I just take their word for it.
You just said they're good liars.
Well, I don't know.
I'd say a lot of the guys that I know are more, I guess, the higher value type guys.
And there's
they
actually-
don't take girls seriously.
No, yeah,
and
just-
they
Yeah,
will never
but
look at them for marriage.
some people actually do want OnlyFans women and want to marry OnlyFans women and have kids with OnlyFans women.
Erroneous!
But very few.
Erroneous!
Well, but hold
Very
on.
few.
Do you think those men are virtuous, high-quality men that won't cheat on you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like it, but it's actually really normalized in my area.
No, the fact that it's normalized is not the point. The point is it good? Is it right to post suggestive pictures of yourself online, number one? And does it get closer to your goal of being married for the rest of your life with a soulmate that you love?
I feel like, obviously, I want to get married, and obviously, I feel like if I was with a guy and he didn't accept my past, I wouldn't want to be with him.
Not your past, if you're still doing it.
If he,
Like,
if
if
he
you
didn't
quit-
accept it, then
So
piss off.
let me ask you a hypothetical. If you met a man and he says, I'm earning $2 million a year, would you quit?
Okay, like that, yes. If they can make as much as I can, then yes, I'll
So you would quit OnlyFans?
But if they're going to say, stop doing it, but they're not doing anything with their life, then no, I'm not going to
Okay.
stop.
So it's just purely financial for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Would you agree it's just purely financial for you?
literally, yeah.
Okay. Do you think that you have more to offer to the world than your body?
Of course.
Yeah.
Then why don't you do that?
Because I
we,
just chose not to.
yeah.
Because you chose. But I know. But don't you think
I mean,
you're?
we have more to offer, but we also want to be able to travel and explore.
Okay.
You know
No.
what I
Now
mean?
we're getting
And
somewhere.
be
So you
adventurous.
want a fun life.
Yeah, a free
Yes.
life where
Okay.
we can travel, live our life young.
Everything in life comes with a cost,
Of course.
and the cost for you is that your body will now be shared by tens of thousands of
Yeah.
people, not just your soulmate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't you feel a little bit of sadness that you wish that your body would just be sold with your future, shared with your future soulmate?
I did have that mindset, and then like I feel like men actually changed me and turned me into this person. And
Who did? A men?
No, like
Oh,
men in general, like they just turned me into this person. I didn't plan my life going this way. It was literally a 1-minute decision, and I thought I might as well. They all view me the same, so I'll just throw my life in and do it.
Well,
But I feel like if a man wants to be with me and love me for who I am, then so be it. But if they're going to judge me for what my work is and what I do, then I'm not going to let them in my life.
right. So the judging is a separate issue. I'm just, do you think the type of man you want, I imagine, is one that tells the truth and that is loyal to you?
Yeah.
That pool of men that you eventually want to have a family with,
Yeah.
do you think they will look fondly upon girls?
I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
genuinely, I don't know.
I could tell you as a man that we look so lowly on girls, it's the equivalent to digital prostitution.
Yeah.
That's your opinion.
No, it's not.
Really?
It's the average Western male.
I don't know if it's
Wait,
like.
what is his opinion?
I mean, it's not an opinion. It's,
Yeah,
it is factual that the average Western male looks at no different than an service delivered digitally.
Well, isn't it just objectively true?
And I'm not
that-
trying to attack either of you. I think you're both victims caught up in this terrible trend. I just want to ask you, have you thought deeply about how this might get you further from your goal, not closer to your goal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I have definitely thought about that.
But
Like, when,
that's-
I first started it, I was like, this comes with, like, consequences, though. So, like, I obviously thought about it and was like, but I'm going to do this, and obviously it's going to be harder to find a guy to marry, but I'm taking that risk.
Yeah, I've always thought about just taking the risk. And I've always been like a risk taker. I don't really care about what anyone else thinks. Like, that's up to you and what you think. But if I think that I can get somewhere by it, then I'm going to do it.
Do you both want children?
Yeah.
Well, I do, but I don't know if I can.
You mean physically or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to have children and you were to go to your first grader's career day and you were to present to a bunch of first graders, how would you describe what you do to a bunch of first graders?
Well, I don't think that I'll still be doing it when I do have kids. I feel like that's something that I would stop before
Okay.
I did have kids.
Yeah.
Just so, like, it's not like, obviously, like, the internet is always going to be there. But I
The
feel like
internet
it's
is forever, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like it's something that I would stop before I did have children, kind of thing.
Can I ask approximately? I have no idea. How much money do you earn annually? Is that okay to ask? I'm just curious.
So in the last 6 months, I've earned over $115,000
U.S. dollars or
AUS.
AUS. So what is
Yeah.
that conversion rate? Like 80%,
So
right?
like yeah, so it was
You
like
can buy like a croissant or something with that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's 80,000 American, right? About?
yeah,
Is that correct?
yeah, I think so.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
That's
Okay.
in 6 months.
Yeah,
So you're projected to have like over 180,000 by next year. 160.
Yeah.
Okay.
12 grand a month.
Did you have more on that?
No,
or-
I just want to make sure everybody watching and you guys all think deeply about that and how men view not just fans culture, but you all said marriage, and some of you said marriage and kids is the most important thing, but far too often our actions and what we do every day is actually not getting us closer to our stated goal.
Well, you can say that to the subscribers too, who subscribe to their.
don't- I
and
mean, I think that
contribute to their pockets, but that's what I mean.
they should be
how
shamed.
can we find husbands in our 20s, in our early 20s? I'm not in my early 20s, but how could we find husbands if they're busy subscribing to trans chicks?
Yeah, well, not every man is, and that's a
Sure.
really good question. So where did all the good men go? I talk about this in my book, actually. The first piece of advice I have for young ladies is do not post suggestive material of yourself online. Men want what they cannot see and cannot have. Mystery is lacking in the West. And I know this is lost on a lot of young ladies. They say, the more I post of myself on, with a bikini on the beach, the more men will like you. No, I mean, the more they'll want to have sex with you,
Yeah.
but then they'll look at you as just a visual or a commodity, not as a future soulmate. And the second part is, to be perfectly honest with you, religious men check a lot of the boxes that you guys are looking for. I know that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's my. I
Can
feel
you-
like that's one reason why I was able to find men like that. It's because even though they weren't conservative, they still had very, very deep religious values.
Can you tell me more? That's so interesting.
Mainly Catholic. I'm also Catholic.
Yeah. So, and they believed in the God, right? They wanted to have a family.
Yeah, they didn't necessarily like read the Bible word for word
of
every
course.
day, but they like followed the Bible.
So would you say that's, if you're looking to find a man in the West and it's your number one priority, and you were given a random selection of a Catholic man or kind of a femboy atheist, you would take the Catholic?
Yeah, I would.
Would you?
The Catholic, yes. I think
Okay.
femboy atheist is so
So
funny.
how many of you are then going to church actively trying to find a man?
I mean, I don't need to.
I also
Well, I know, but
I didn't meet any of my boyfriends
Okay,
in church,
fair enough.
and I feel like I wouldn't have if I'm going to be honest. I feel like you can meet a really religious man outside of church.
Fair enough, yeah.
You just have to find where you guys both coincide, and yeah, like at the library, studying for your exams, for example.
I actually recommend to my single friends to find men in the church because
I agree.
usually stand-up guys, typically.
Yeah, and I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. And so my advice to my 2 Australian friends is that if you want the thing that is the most important thing to you, start making those decisions younger than older, because you might end up be filled with a lot of money and a lot of regret.
Well put, Charlie. Well put. Let me read 2 of these